I want to get like some practical things of what people in a couple space, in a relationship space, how can they go from being in debt, paying off the debt, right, and building wealth, and watch this, and still love each other throughout the process. Yeah. Because we're seeing, the numbers are showing us, half of the married couples can't do that and stay together. Yeah. How did y'all do it? So where did y'all start? How much debt did y'all have?
Well, we were in premarital counsel when we found out what our debt was. Yes. So
we actually in premarital counseling, we actually exchanged credit reports.
Yes.
That was the first time?
That was the first time.
Yes, we had been dating about a year and a half, and we knew that we were going somewhere, obviously, because we had decided to go to counseling first.
Okay.
And
I hadn't proposed yet, but we knew that we were going in this direction. So we said, let's take the next logical step.
Pause real quick. Do y'all suggest your daughters to do that as well? Like now, so if you dating someone before he even says I do, go to marriage counseling up front.
Yes.
Okay, cool, great.
Absolutely.
I believe in that. All right, finish your story.
Absolutely. And so that pastor said, all right, bring your credit reports.
Okay.
And he gave mine to Chris, and Chris, you know, it got in my hands.
You feeling naked?
I was vulnerable. I was like, are we doing this? And I'm sitting here like,
no eye contact at that moment. It was like, like, what you been doing?
Right, what's going on here? Is this what I think it is?
But surprisingly, we exchanged them, but they looked almost the exact same.
Are you serious?
So we had student loans. Both of us had student loans. Both of us had a car payment. We had credit cards, and it added up. At that time, it was around $60,000.
Okay.
We got married, had a baby, and it grew to $90,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had to buy, a new car.
Right. We were still
we had to move into a new house.
Yeah, we were still trying to accumulate, and we just didn't realize that could have meant not accumulating more debt, but we did it that way.
And here's what I'll say. Here's where I think people miss it sometimes. They want perfection over progress.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. The road doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're making progress. And I've talked about being intentional. And I think she and I, I traveled back and forth to work on a long commute, and I just had a lot of time to just meditate and listen to the radio. And I just shared with her, like, you know what, we need to just get serious about it. And this was like a year into our relationship. And we said, we're going to get serious. We're going to focus on eliminating the debt. And we just started on a process to begin to eliminate debt. And we actually said to our friends, like, look, we're about to get on this journey. You should get on this journey with us, because one day, if you want to hang with us and be able to roll with us, you better get your stuff together. So we were like,
y'all coming?
Bringing people into it just to walk that road together.
And believe it or not, one of the first things he did was he took the credit cards away from me, because I was an engineer.
Okay.
I was going to lunch with coworkers.
And he was putting on a credit card.
I was putting it on a credit card. And so deception from the beginning.
Pressure from coworkers to go out every day.
Right. And so you think, as an engineer, you're making good money. I can do this. I can afford this.
Yeah.
And it's the thing to do.
Right.
I'm with coworkers, sure. And I didn't see that $10, $12, $15 was a detriment, but the detriment was not letting him know.
Here I am taking my lunch to work. Like,
he was on struggle bus, and I was out here like, hey, yes,
I got the long commute. I got the little car.
So how did you navigate that as a husband? Because it said, all right, we gotta get intentional.
Yeah.
You found out she was charging credit cards, you taking the lunch. How did you have that conversation in a healthy way to where she was like, all right, cool,
I think in a relationship, as long as you show mutual respect, and you understand that, look, we're trying to go somewhere. We're on this, we talk about being on the same team and going in the same direction. I came to Ericka, I was like, look, this is not gonna work, because we can't keep doing this and make the progress we're looking to make.
Wow.
And it wasn't just her. I took my cards and I threw them all on ice. I froze them.
Yes, literally in a bowl with water in the freezer.
In the freezer.
Because we needed that physical representation of the fact that we weren't going back. Right? So you open up your freezer, you know what I mean? Then you look and you say, this is that reminder that I need. Because daily you look in there, right? And so, but he did. He came to me, he was like, hey, this is not productive.
And it's not an indictment on her.
Yeah.
Because I took her cards and I put my cards in there too.
We did
that
the same
was
thing.
dope, man.
Yeah, because I don't want to say, well, you're doing this, and I'm doing everything perfect. I was like, no, we're in this journey together. So let's just put them in there so neither of us have access to it, and let's find a better way.
And so that was his first contribution to our trying to get on the same team. And because I'm an engineer, I love numbers. I mean, I just got right into let's budget. Let's figure this out. How long is it going to take us to get out of debt? Like, I got really excited about the numbers, and that's what I said. All right, so here is my contribution. This is how I can add value to this journey.
I was a salesperson,
okay,
and so I made commissions and bonuses, and I was like, you know what? We're not going to do anything lavish or extravagant. We're going to take these bonuses, we're going to put them towards debt. You know, she was working as an engineer. We got stock. We're like, we're not going to do something lavish with that. We're going to sell the stock, and we're going to put it towards debt. And it's just using what you have. And that's why I talk about making progress, is because people think you got to make all this money and you've got to be able to do all these things to reach a level. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes, and then we went on vacation. Like, we went on vacation with cash. We did not go on credit. We had 2 babies in the time that
we continued to live life during that process.
We were not about, you know, just taking everything and slashing and burning and not going out to eat. We just said, you know what, let's be modest. Let's make sure that along the way, because we knew that it took us 5 years. It took us 5 years to eventually get out of $90,000 in debt. And we really wanted to make sure that along the way we enjoyed our life. Like, we just didn't want to feel like, okay, at some distant future, then we can actually go out to eat, or then we can take our kids on a vacation. We said, how can we do both so that I can still like him, right? Like, that was important to us.
That was.
And what's important is, once we got out of debt, it opened other options up.
Like what?
Because Ericka was an engineer, but she wasn't really loving that. And so when we got out of debt, she left her engineering job, and that's when she went and started, you know, full-time coaching and doing her business. And we were at a point, you know, I was at a point in my corporate career where I was making money to sustain our household. So it was like, look, you got options now. And I think that's what people have to realize is what options are you trying to present for yourself? What are you trying to create for the future? And I think that was a motivator for her also to stay on target, to stay on track with the plan, because then it opened up options where she could pursue different things, where she could spend time with our kids. We could have flexibilities that previously we didn't have the luxury to be able to do.
And that's what getting out of debt should do. It should give you options, right? There was a day, I remember it specifically like it was yesterday. Honestly, it was about 18 years ago. I called him, 19 years ago, I called him and I said, I was crying because they were doing a voluntary and involuntary layoffs. And it was around December time frame, and I just, you know, found a quiet place, and I'm on the phone at work crying because I wanted to take the voluntary. And we had debt still. And I didn't hate my job, but the life of not being with my 2 kids, or the flexibility like he was speaking of, or, you know, just knowing that I had the grind of having to pay, you know, $2,000 on the rest of this student loan debt in order for us to be done, like that pressure and stress. I mean, I was at work distressed because I wanted to have that option to leave, and I didn't have the option to leave.
How did you calm her down in that time?
You know, I think in that moment, I just reminded her the bigger picture. And, you know, when you're in a situation, that's not the time if she's crying, that's not the time for me to start crying. That's the time for me to show up. You know, because, and in relationships, that's really, you need someone to be the balance. And in that moment, I had to say, look, this may not be the right time. We're close to our goal. And just know that we will have that option available to us. Let's stay the course. And so just giving her that leadership and that guidance and that reaffirmation at that point, that letting her know you will have that option.
And it was only 10 months later that I left.
10 months later?
10 months
she
later,
was like, deuces.
Time to go.
You know, it's so funny. I'm not married, but because I'm like you in the financial coaching space, a lot of people in relationships will come to me for financial advice, right? And so I'm very careful on giving relationship advice because I ain't married. So God's still working with me on that. But I can give financial advice, and I found sometimes it's not about, it's not really about the money. It's about what I'm hearing from you all. You all say it's the bigger vision. I mean, it's the bigger goal. My thing is, I think it has to start with a foundation and what's the vision for our family? You know, where are we going? And we have a vision with our company here. And we have, 5 full-time employees. And I tell our team this, like, what is the vision for what we're doing? The vision will say yes or no.
Yeah.
It's not me saying yes or no.
Yes, let the vision speak.
Let the vision speak for you. And I tell that to couples when they come to me. I was like, okay, what's the ultimate vision? What do you mean, what's the ultimate vision? Okay, where are y'all trying to go the next 5, 10, 15 years? And I found they never took the time to sit down and write the vision.